joining us on the show right now. Mr. Mehta, hi, good morning, and so good having you on the channel today. This whole big GST reset that has been announced, help us understand how big this could mean for the FMCG space right now, because a lot's been getting cheaper, and how big a welcome move is this for the industry?
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for inviting me. I think it's a fabulous day. It's the start of Navaratri, and it's the first day of the new GST regime. And I believe it couldn't have been better. Yeah, as a country, as businesses, we operate under a certain context. And if we look at it post the COVID period, there was a huge inflation. And this was not the homegrown inflation. It came in from outside because of supply chain constraints, because the oil prices going up. And during the 2 years, around 22 and 23, there was unprecedented inflation. And the wages, the incomes, of course, did not keep pace with the inflation. And that is the reason we saw that the consumption growth had become a bit tepid. And thanks to the government, I think they've taken a big step, a fabulous step of rationalizing the GST rates. And this should enable every section of the people to be able to spend more, but more so, I would say, people at the bottom of the pyramid, the lower middle class, who will have more money to spend on essentials, on needs and wants. And I think this should augur very well for the industry at large and for the economy as well.
Indeed, Mr. Mehta, two things that our industry wants an answer on. One is the essentials. Are they going to get a bigger jump versus what we have seen of late? Because it's been a kind of a muted growth. And on the other hand, it's the premiumization theme that has done very well in India. Because yes, of course, some of these majors have done very well, but some of the new entrants have been taking it forward, and even people are expanding their product portfolio in terms of using these products. With respect to the essentials and the premiumization theme, what's your outlook? Which can do better?
Thank you, Shristi. Let me take a step back and give you a bit more insight into FMCG. Yeah, if you look at it from a consumer lens and you look at it from a living standard measure, which goes a bit beyond the social economic indicators, we have about 3-4% of the households who have the purchasing power of the West. Yeah, you may call them the Louis Vuitton consumers. Then you have about 11% of the households who are upper middle class. Yeah, they are striving for a better house, a bigger car. Then you have about 30% of the population who are archetype middle class. Yeah, they are strivers. Increasingly, both husband and wife are working and they want a better life for the children. And then you have 55% of the households who I would call as the lower middle class, bottom of pyramid kind of stuff. Today, they don't go hungry. Yeah, but they have their needs and they want to fulfill them. And when you have more disposable income, you would certainly see them having a higher propensity to consume. Now, we must understand, Shristi, there are no categories in India which are anywhere close to maturity. You can get growth by increasing penetration or getting more consumers. You can get growth by increasing consumption. And as you rightly said, you can get growth by premiumization. Now, premiumization has been a secular trend. We must remember that India for the last 30 years has been growing at a CAGR of 6.5%. And if you look at the nominal growth, it has been growing at about 10-11%. So you have more income, and certainly more income at the top of pyramid, and everyone wants higher order benefits. So premiumization as a trend will continue for years to come. Yeah, but increasingly, when you have more income in the hands of people, the consumer's behavior also changes. To give you some insights, when times are tough, in households at the bottom of pyramid, they would have 1 to toothpaste or one bar of soap in the bathroom for all the family members. When things become better, when things become more affordable, when the incomes go up, they would be having a bar of soap for every member of the family as per their choice. Similarly, it goes with the toothpaste. So it does lead to more consumption. And I think the government has done a fabulous job of bringing down the rate of most of the items to 5%, which should give a fillip to consumption. There is no doubt about that.
Right, okay, so sounding positive over there, Mr. Mehta, but also give us a sense of what this could mean in terms of the shift of preferences that we've seen. And you just spoke about how the premiumization trend could be playing out. So also then give us a sense of if this could bridge the gap between mass production items, mass consumption items and the premium items. And could that gap largely narrow on the back of this GST?
You know, India is a country of 1.5 billion people. Yeah. So if I were to talk to you about premiumization, let me take it from the lens of pricing. When you have products which are priced less than 80% to the average of the market, you call them as mass products. If you have products which are priced between 80 to 120, you can call them as popular products. And if you're priced above 120, those are the premium products. Yeah. Now, this is relative. These are not absolute pricing. And here, again, I'm not talking of the prestige. Prestige is still a very small part. Now, over the last 10, 12 years, we have seen very clearly there is a shift happening, and people are, as they have more income, everyone aims for getting brands, getting products, which gives you higher order benefits. It could be functional benefits, it could be emotional benefits. That's what they strive for. Yeah? But at the same time, we must remember that there's a large section of India's consumers who are still trying to get into many categories. That's where the penetration, that's what we call as the penetration, bringing in more consumers. And when you have reduction in GST, that certainly helps those consumers to get into categories. Now in India, we must remember, it is not just about growing by taking market shares. A lot of growth will happen not by share taking, but by market making, which means you're going to increase the pie. And that happens when the companies take conscious steps to develop the market through what we call as market development. And if you do that, the size of the pie goes up and you bring in more consumers to the fold. So certainly GST is going to help. Certainly it will help bring penetration. And those consumers, say, who are in the middle income brackets, who were striving for brands at a premium pricing, but they were held back because of affordability, now will have more money to go after premium products. So it is also going to help premiumization, and I believe India is on a path where it will sustain a high rate of growth for years to come. So premiumization as a trend will remain secular.
Okay, so that's the take on premiumization. But Mr. Mehta sir, before we let you go, just give us a sense on what you think the outcome could be on the rural economy. Given that that is largely a need-based economy, do you think this GST cut could be significant enough to move the needle for the rural economy?
You know, if you look at rural economy, there was a time when 2 years back, we had a GDP, we had the agriculture growth rate which was less than 2%. That took a toll on the rural consumption. Now we must remember that 60% of Indians still live in rural, and 45% of working population in the country is engaged in agriculture and related activities. So if your agri growth goes down, then yes, it will impact your consumption. Now thankfully the rains have been good, yeah, and we see both the crops, Rabi and Kharif, hopefully being much better this year. Last year was decent as compared to the previous year, and that is the reason you saw rural consumption going up, and for many quarters the growth rate has been higher than the urban. Remember, growth rate, not the absolute growth, not the absolute consumption. So if that continues, then yes, it will give more money in the hands of consumers in rural area. And thanks to GST reduction, it will make the brand's products more affordable. So yes, it will definitely impact rural consumption also.
All right, we'll definitely watch out for that. But Mr. Mehta, so good having you on the channel today. Thank you so much for taking the time out.
And all the best to you, and all the best to ET Now.
Thank you so much. But thank you so much for helping us understand what's really panning out when it comes to the FMCG sector in India.